What up guys, it's Julian, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make Amstra style hard melodic techno. I'm actually going to be showing you how to do it from scratch. It's something you guys have been requesting for a minute now. To do this, I'm going to be using my 2 subscriber only packs for my ES Pro subscription service. This is a new service we've just launched where you subscribe monthly and then you get access to every single sample, loop, preset, everything project file we've ever released on the electronic samples library, plus new packs every month just for subscribers. So I'm going to be using this month's 2 new packs to create some Amstra style techno. To start with, let's hit 150 BPM. I think around like between 150 and 160 is pretty good for this style, and we're going to start with a kick. So I've got this one here which has 2 layers. Like if you want to get that kind of, it's like the hard techno kick, but it's definitely getting a little bit harder. You have to go from this to this. So we've got like this extra layer here, and what this would be, I can show you how to make it in real time. So the way you would make this is you would have your kick, and then you're going to essentially high pass it, like duplicate it, the same kick, high pass it, distort it, and then you can high pass it again. Right, and then you just bring it in, right, and then where you set the high pass can completely change the sound. But yeah, so let's just keep that one honestly. So I've got that, then we're going to get kind of like the rest of the drums. Let's find, I like to move up, just very simple, like hi-hat, ride, nothing, not all the loops just yet, right? And honestly, let's go up to like 154. 152 feels good. Okay, so this is where we can start to bring in a little bit more percussion. We're going to start to stack things and try to build up that like very mid-rangey kind of thing. And then I'm going to show you what we got to do after we get all the stacks. So I'm going to start dragging stuff in, right? And then we're going to process it in a moment, and it's all going to kind of come together. Now, something I noticed listening to these Amstra tracks is that he has kind of a very Schranzy feel to his percussion. Right? Like it's all this kind of stuff, but this alone doesn't quite do it. What you need to do is you actually need to, again, do the Schranz thing here, so we're going to distort it. Find what sounds best. I think that sounds best, and then we'll bring the dry wet down. So we're kind of getting a blend now, but you can hear it has a lot more oomph to it. We're going to high pass this, and then we're going to auto pan it. Now my auto pan is set up to do this by default. What you want to do is basically, yours will probably be set like this. So what you want to do is go here, set it to quarter notes, bring the phase down. And when you bring the phase down, that has the volume. It's just affecting the volume. It's not affecting the pan anymore. So there you go. And then you give it the saw wave, and then you invert it. And see how we're starting to really get that feel. Now I think we could use a little bit more like steady percussion. Let's keep going through this and just find some stuff. Alright, sounding pretty good. I think the last thing I'm going to do is, again, to kind of give it just a little bit more of that Schranzy sort of feel that we do now in these tracks. A little bit of what you did with the percussion loop down here with the distortion, filtering, and then the auto pin, you can also do that with the kick. So, like, I'll just get these things on here and then we'll dial them in. So we're going to start just a high pass, but like a bit lower, like there. And see, we can start to create this loop. And there you go, you dial it in and it just gives a little more atmosphere to the drums. So I like to start and get those drums dialed in. Maybe let's make the ride a little bit wider with the delay trick, where you just take this, unsync these, bring one all the way down, low feedback, and then so this is where we can start to do these beautiful kind of melodic synths that this style is known for, right? So to do this, I'm going to use this other pack from this month so that I can kind of show you the more important stuff rather than spend a bunch of time fidgeting around with MIDI. Okay, this bass is pretty good. I'm going to grab the MIDI from that, and I'll explain how to write that, but at least we'll just have some MIDI. Let's check out this pad. Yeah, that's cool. Again, I'm going to get the MIDI for that. Okay, let's get this pad, and then this one says it's A sharp minor, and then we're in A minor, so we're just going to go like this. I noticed that this guy doesn't use a whole lot of leads. It's more like a few pads. Like, let's honestly just grab one more MIDI. And they kind of all come together and create this sound. So if we are in A minor, we're going to go, this is F minor, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. There we go. We're in key. All right, so let's start with the bass. We're going to do like our standard sort of reese bass. I'm going to get wavetable. I'm going to get these effects. All right, cool. And then we can use the filter. Kind of dial it in, get the auto pan going. And for this tune, I'm going to take that up an octave. Sounds pretty cool. Let's make sure it's going well with the kick too. Like, I like to just... Yeah, this key works. Cool. Alright, so let's start to get some of these pads going. So now I'm going to get a wavetable for the second one. The cool thing with wavetable is you can make... It's not just for basses. You can use, like, you know, one of these cool settings for the unison. And then we can start to just find really cool wavetables. Like, let's try the complex ones and get, like, one of these. Just put an LFO on it. You know, and you get this really cool morphing pack. Let's get a filter on there. Let's get some reverb. And some chorus. Lately I've been putting the chorus after the reverb, kind of honestly like some shoegaze type of vibes, right? And that pad's a bit more low key because we're just gonna stack it with others. Like if we get this one, I think this one should just be more of a super saw, because I've noticed that he does use those in his tracks, right? Like, it's not like all of them are like we're always just trying to make some crazy new texture. A lot of times just a good super saw is all you need, right? But let's put that down maybe an octave or two. Yeah, that. Like, I've definitely heard this type of pad in the Amstra tracks, so I don't want to miss it. Alright, we got that. We'll do an auto pan, high pass. So you can save a lot of time. If you don't use auto pan for anything other than this, which is honestly what I do, because I kind of don't like having things move around like a lot. I feel like it's a bit annoying. But then this is like a really useful way to use it. You can just set this up and then hit save as default preset, and then it'll just be there every time. Alright, this one, we're going to make this note. We're just going to change it a little bit. Just go down one semitone. Cool. Alright, we're starting to clip. Let's bring this down. Alright, sounding really cool. Let's get this one more pad here, because again, the sound of Amstra is definitely stacking pads as we're seeing here. I think for this one we could do something even cooler though. Like, let's get the Granulator. I don't know if you guys have ever tried this before. It's a granular synth built into Ableton now that Max for Live is part of Ableton ever since 11, right? And basically you just can drag in a sample here, and then it'll give you like, I'll show you, it'll like warp all around the sample. So let's get like something from here. Like, let's use this. Okay, so what we're gonna do is you take kind of like any sample works, but especially if it's something that's got a lot of movement like that. And then what it's doing is it's a sampler, but it's moving all around the sample. Right? So it's you can get really interesting sounds this way. We're probably going to have to tune this. But yeah, so you can just get a lot cooler pads this way. So we're going to do that. And if you guys have seen my channel, you know I've been using this thing since like the beginning, like 2018. So it's held up over time really nicely. I think we're actually going to do a little bit of one of those. Alright, let's see if we're in tune. Yeah, it honestly sounds... Alright, let's hear the whole thing. Sweet. Now, the last thing I want to show you guys how to do is mastering while we're here. Why not? So I feel pretty good about this mix sound. Maybe I'll bring up this pad a tiny bit. And those loops, but then what we're going to do is let's go ahead and make sure everything is not clipping, and maybe ideally around like -3. Like that. And we can move to mastering. So I'm going to get 3 things: EQ8, saturator, limiter. And we're going to just turn off these. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to take the EQ, and we're going to do a cut at 20 hertz. And at 20,000, aka 20 kilohertz. Now, you may already know, so I'm not going to preach on it too long. Basically, you can only hear within this range. Your ears do not go past here, and they don't go past here. You can't hear those frequencies. You can feel some of these, though. So that's why we start to cut this down here, is because you can feel those, especially on a big club system. But also, since you don't really need those frequencies, you might as well cut them. You don't get the weird rumbling, and then you have more headroom for mastering. So that's why we do this. It creates headroom. Then we're going to get the saturator, And we're going to put it on medium curve. And we honestly aren't going to need to add too much drive. I'll show you. If we go from this. So yeah, let's go ahead and hit soft clip. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to blend this a little. And yeah, it's just making the whole mix a bit fatter, a bit more full. You don't always need this. It can help though. But it can also get a little bit touchy later when you actually go to like push it with the limiter. Because now what we're going to do is we're going to take the limiter, just get the ceiling to 0. And we're going to push it, baby. Right, and this is why I like to master in the project file, because you can start to tweak things, like if you feel like your kick is too loud or whatever. But there it is. That is how you make Amstra style techno using the 2 packs from this month's ES Pro subscription service. Definitely check that out at the top of the description, guys. Thanks again for the support. I hope this video helped you. I know a lot of you guys were looking how to make this stuff. So definitely let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Let me know what you want to see next. Thanks again for the support, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.